right, so this past week I was working with a local golf club here in my hometown of San Diego, California. And the first thing that I did before I came up with any ideas, any offers, is I wanted to know exactly what our customers wanted. So what I did is I sent out a survey. We had about 9,800 email addresses. I asked 5 simple questions, but one question elicited the biggest response out of all of them. And I bet you can't guess what it is. Well, I'll save the suspense for you. The biggest question that got the biggest response was, why haven't you come back to play golf? And what do you think the response to that was? You know, I can go ahead and tell you, but I'm pretty sure you already know what the response is. It's something that the RNA just talked about a couple weeks ago in Golf Club Management Online. It's slow play. Okay, I'm sure this is a huge surprise to you, but this is still continuing to be a problem. But the question is that when you have over 600 data points from your local population, and your idea is to cut playing times by cutting the number of holes, what happens when the survey comes back and says, you know what, we want to play all 18 holes. I don't want to play 6 holes. I don't want to play 9 holes. I want to play 18 holes. What are we going to do? Now, I know what you're thinking, okay? You know, I know what you're sitting there saying. Pace of play is such a big problem. It's impossible to fix. They just can't go any faster, right? You've probably sat there and said, I've tried everything. Everything. Well, let me tell you something. Bet you any amount of money you haven't tried everything, okay? And how do I know this? Because a golf club here in Northern California, in Sacramento, found a way to cut pace of play by almost an hour per round. Let me tell you how they did it. So how did the club in Sacramento do this? They did some simple things. They knew, though, the overarching strategy was to change behavior. You cannot stop anything. You cannot make people do what you want to do unless you change their behavior. And they did things like they put a podium on the first tee where they posted the pace of play times that they needed to get in. They even had a flag system where marshals would put up different colored flags to let groups know that they're either ahead, on pace, behind. But you know what the thing they did? The one thing they did that was more important than anything, is they did something. They actually got off their ass and went out and did something. And they did something very simple, and they did something very specific. So let me ask you a question. Do you know how to change behavior? Okay. Part of it is you have to offer incentives. These can be anything from social incentives, like, hey, if you play faster, everyone gets off the course sooner. They could be financial incentives. Hey, you get off the course on time, we're going to give you a drink or a discounted round or a bucket of balls. But the number one thing that they do to change anything is take action. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you below to tell me how you're going to cut 10 minutes off the pace of play at your club. 10 minutes, not an hour, not 30 minutes. I want you to tell me one specific thing you can do to cut 10 minutes off. And if you can't do that, if you cannot absolutely sit there and tell me one thing you can do, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to never watch any more of these videos ever again. I want you to crawl under your desk and go in the fetal position and just wait for the whole world to collapse around you. Okay? So for the Marketing Minute, I'm Sean Mizell.